Real estate tips for beginners and struggling agents. Find out what we got to say on this whole video. Before I get into all that, got to do the usual stuff. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Really helps this channel gain traction. Helps me out as a small business owner here locally, and just to build the brand and the influence so we can hopefully help more realtors make it in this industry on everything. So I got 3 things for you to really focus on for beginners and struggling agents, and then a 4th bonus tip if you stick around to the end that you may or may not have considered, that will really help you with some insights, perspectives, that kind of thing. So I'm going to just give you the 3 things, and I'm going to go into them in detail. The first one is investing in your skills, both marketing and sales skills specifically. Second one is schedule your work daily. And number 3 is get your people around you on board. And so those are like the 3 things real quick, three things. And I'm going to go into each one of them kind of a little more in detail. The first one is as far as investing in your skills. I see it pretty often where it's like realtors get a license and they expect that to be the end all be all of why they're worth what they're charging. And they think that's enough skills in order to be a realtor. And the harsh truth is that is like the furthest thing from the truth. Just because you have a realtor's license doesn't mean you know how to provide the marketing and sales skills that your client actually hires you for. They don't entirely hire you for being a realtor. They hire you for the marketing and sales skills you have while being a realtor. And that's one of the biggest epiphanies of my career that I've seen, that it's like, you're not actually paying me these large commissions and fees for my real estate knowledge and my real estate data and that kind of stuff. Although we take that into account, what you're actually paying me for is for my marketing and sales skills. And at the end of the day, when you think about it, we only get paid if things close, if things are only marketed and sold and closed. Like, it's got to be that full equation that people will pay you thousands of dollars for, not just to have my realtor's license. There's kind of a funny joke I heard a while back, and if you haven't heard this, you'll get a kick out of it too. This is give you if you don't remember anything, you can remember this. It's that this cop pulled over somebody who was speeding, and they pulled him over, and the cop walked up to the driver and asked the driver, hey, can I see your registrations and realtor license, please? And he kind of looked at him funny. He's like, what do you mean realtor's license? Do you mean driver's license? And the cop kind of smirks and laughs at him, says, no, not everybody has one of those. And so that's kind of the funny joke, because probably everybody and their brother has considered or thought about being a realtor at some point. Or you probably hear it commonly from people like, oh yeah, I had my realtor's license once, or I've thought about being a realtor. I could be a good realtor. I like talking to people. It's like, it's a lot more than that, buddy. Like, you got to actually have marketing and sales skills. And let me put a caveat to that. Marketing and sales skills that work in 2021 and 2022 and beyond. Like, not even the stuff that worked 5 years ago works now. You think about where Facebook was at, YouTube was at, Google was at 5 years ago, completely different. Like, so if you learned marketing skills from 5 years ago, or if you're like, oh, I've been doing marketing for 20 years. Like, well, if you've been doing marketing the same way for 20 years, it's obsolete. That's the cold, hard truth. Same thing with your sales skills. If you haven't adapted your sales skills to the modern behavior of the consumer, the modern needs of that client, you're going to get crushed. Like, you got to look at this objectively of what is actually earning you these dollars that you want to have in real estate. And if you're a beginner or you're a struggling agent, really got to look at your skill level in marketing and sales and say, like, where have I actually invested both the money and the time into this? Because that $300 investment, let's say, and I've taken a lot of these marketing and sales, either e-courses, in-person events, monthly coaching from people. There's a lot of different forms of it. You could take a $300 sales course from someone, learn a ton about sales on everything, and then think about what's the ROI of that sales training that you just learned. $300. Even if you go make, let's say, one sale at $3,000, that's a 10x return that you just got on that investment of $300. Let's say you decide to sign up for coaching. There's a few different levels of coaching that you could sign up for. I've seen some as low as $500 a month, and I've seen some at $1,000 a month, and other ones that are like $2,000 or $3,000 a month. So it just kind of depends on your market and where the price points make sense, but then also like what you're comfortable with and able to actually continue to invest in yourself so you can actually get good at this profession, not just going out there winging it with your brokerages, free training that's kind of generic box fed stuff. It's really not that great. It's not personalized to you. It's not really helping you actually implement these things, because it's one thing to receive the information, it's a whole nother thing to actually go apply the marketing and sales skills that you're learning in these things. So one of the biggest things I can caveat off of this too is that if you have a cheap mindset and you don't want to spend money on yourself to get good at this business, you're going to attract cheap clients is the other piece. Cheap mindset equals cheap clients. So don't be cheap in this situation. You can't come in here paying $2,000 or $4,000, depending on the market you're in, trying to be a realtor and then go expect to make $100,000 in a year when you only put in 2,000 to 4,000. Like, it's just absurd that people think that they can come in here and do that. So number one advice I have for beginners and struggling agents, invest in your skills, marketing and sales skills specifically, because that's ultimately what people decide to hire you for or not, and what ultimately gets you the results in this business too. Number two, I'd say, is the schedule your work daily thing. You know, I think people come into this industry with the wrong attitude, like, I'm going to be my own boss, work my own hours, you know, do what I want to do. But the truth is, it's the complete opposite of that. We trade in one boss for 100 bosses, and they're called clients. And we have to do things on their hours, on their times. They're way more demanding than your bosses. They're way more judgmental. They're way harder to accommodate and please. And the truth of this is that you need to be a good boss of yourself is really what it comes down to, because you just got self-employed, and most people are terrible bosses of themselves. Is really what you got to look at that. And it's usually because, like, they're working hard and they're all motivated and they're positive and optimistic. But really what it comes down to is you need to schedule your work daily, you know, and you need to have a plan to work every single day in your business, like you're an employee of your own business. If you come into this industry thinking like, oh, well, I could sleep until 9 or 10 and then get up and only work till 2 or 3, like, you're dead wrong, like, with this. And so I just want to make sure that that expectation is set up from the start for beginners and struggling agents. Really take a look at where you're spending your time and what you're doing with your time, because that is now and will always be your number one battle of time blocking what you're doing with your business. But if you plan to and commit to scheduling your work daily to do these activities repeatedly over and over consistently, not having sick days, not having your car break down, XYZ thing that I got to go take care of, going on vacation, taking time off. If you put the time into it, it will pay you back. If you don't, it will not. And I see this too often where people just kind of half-ass commit to this industry, but then they expect it to pay them a whole bunch of money. So number two, schedule your work daily and actually stick to that schedule and follow it. Number three, this is probably one of the biggest ones that I would say that most people don't take into account, that has a giant effect on them because we're humans and we rely on social belonging, is get your people around you on board. And what I mean by that is like your spouse, your significant other, but also your family, your friends, etc. Because your family or friends might be like, oh, well, you're a realtor entrepreneur. You could just go take off and do lunch whenever you want, right? Let's go to lunch from 12 to 2. It's like, no, I have to do work at that time. There's obligations, timelines I got to fulfill. I can't just jack around for 2 hours, you know, and then not to mention, like, beyond that 2 hours, I got to get myself like back into the mindset of production. And so it's just like, I don't have all this free time that you think I do. So please don't distract me, you know, this is the biggest thing, is ask them for the support to help you with this dedication to the industry that you're committing to. It's not a forever thing. It's like a 1 or 2 year thing that you really got to bust yourself. I'm trying not to cuss and use all the vulgar, you know, blunt language, but you can kind of get a little bit of the idea of my style. But it's only going to be 1 to 2 years that you're really like busting it to really get your business going. And I should say that your first 1 to 2 years is the hardest. After that, you start to get more accustomed to it, used to it. You're starting to figure it out more. You have some repeat clients, some repeat business referrals. You're starting to figure out some of the path of least resistance for you. But the biggest thing is making sure that you're getting your support environment in place, because I've seen this time and time again where it's like, if the wife's on board but the husband's not, that can create a lot of friction and tension and problems, you know, with what's required in this industry, because it does take sacrifice, you know, and your family, your friends, your spouse has to be on board with that, okay with that, that there might be some evenings, there will be some evenings, there will be some weekends where I got to put things off. I may not be home every night. I may not be able to go to every sporting event on the weekends. You know, for me personally, like, I'm a single guy, but I still had to give up social things. I still had to be like, you know, I can't go out Friday night or Saturday night. You know, I got too many important meetings going on Saturday morning or Sunday morning. Or this is a big one. I didn't have anything set up Saturday morning, but I got a phone call Saturday morning at 9 a.m. that if I was sleeping in or hungover or wouldn't be there, I would have missed that $6,000 of commission if I wasn't making myself available and ready for that $6,000 to come in at a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And so that's where, your friends may not understand that. They're like, hey, Ben, let's go out Friday night. Let's go get hammered. Let's go get drunk. Nope, can't do that. Like, I'm too committed to my goals from Saturday, 9 a.m. in the morning. And you sometimes don't associate with that. So getting your people, getting your support environment on board to support you in what you're doing, and especially like your family, because sometimes they're not quite as supportive as you might want them to be. But if you kind of like ask them for their support, I think it'll make a bigger difference than just expecting it from them. I think initially we, get into business or we do everything and we expect our family to be completely supportive, but we didn't even ask them to support us in what we're doing. We just kind of expected it and assumed that they would be. So, getting your people on board is a very big one, because it takes a village to make somebody successful. This whole idea of like self-made is a bunch of junk. Like, nobody ever makes themselves by themselves. If anything, like, they need a team of people. They need people to play the sport with, to play the game with. Like, you need buyers and sellers. No one is ever self-made. Like, it's just a very self-centered, like, arrogant, egotistical attitude. And it's like, that's the attitude that people hate about realtors, and ultimately like drives people out of the industry. You do need to have belief in yourself and have confidence in yourself, but not full of yourself, because that's really the type of realtor that's going away that people can't stand. And number 4, so let me do a recap. Invest in your skills, marketing and sales skills. Schedule your work daily. Plan to work daily. This isn't such a cush industry like some people think. And if you're a beginner, you're struggling, it's probably something you need to objectively look at. And number 3 is get your people on board. Make sure your environment supports you in your new endeavor, for years to come, not just like, a few things here and there, or just in talk, like actually in action. And then number 4, if you stuck around this long watching, I really appreciate it. And hopefully you've been getting some good value out of this. Number 4, that you may or may not have considered at this point, whether you're a beginner or especially if you're a struggling agent, because this is honestly my ideal type of agent client, is for joining a team. So essentially number 4 is join a team. Look at joining a team. My ideal agent is somebody who's tried this on their own for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, something like that. Realizes how hard this is on their own, and realizes like all these things that I'm saying need to be done. Invest in skills, schedule work daily, get your people on board, have a supportive environment. A team provides all that at no cost. And, typically what I've seen is people go, oh, well, I got to give up 50% of my commission to join a team. Like, that's our pay split. And that's a pretty common team split structure. But that mindset is completely wrong. You're not giving up anything that you didn't have in the first place. You're getting 50% that you didn't have before. And so it's like, would you rather have 50% of $10,000 of commissions coming in, or would you rather have 100% of nothing? So it's something you really got to objectively look at as a beginner or as a struggling agent. You got to kind of swallow some ego, swallow some pride, and just look at this and go, all right, I don't got this figured out. Maybe I just need to work with somebody that's got some opportunity, instead of just being the usual, like, I got it all, I'm the end all be all, do it all, I know everything guy. And I only say this and know this because I used to be that guy. Literally, my construction company's name was Do It All Construction before. And I realize now, like, how ego and cocky and arrogant and egotistical that was. And it was the complete wrong mindset. And it's also why, like, I could only get to a certain production level in construction. Same thing as realtors. Like, I was trying to do it all. I was trying to be the end all be all. And it's like, I'm not. Even as a team lead, I still need, like, my team, my support stuff. I still need all these structures. Like, I realize how many people I need, like, to help me. But some of the other benefits I wanted to put on here for joining a team was, like, the cost of leads. Team covers all that. The CRM, team covers that. Staff, office, team covers all that. Because even as a single agent, eventually you're going to have to start building these things and paying for these things. And your split's going to usually end up to be less than 50%, as if you would have just joined a team. So even if you cap out 100% at Keller Williams or EXP or any of the other companies, like, those cost of leads, CRM, staff, office, those costs never go away. Like, so why not take advantage of economy of scale with the team, join a business structure that's already in place, and just build your business within that business. Another big one that teams have, that this is honestly not a dirty secret, but it's a truth, an underground secret, if you will, teams have more connections for lead sources in business that you just don't as an individual. Like, and that's where more of these marketing companies and organizations are set up to service and work with teams, because they know teams deliver a better result than the individual agent. And that's really why they'd rather give these opportunities, these connections to the teams, because it's a professionally ran organization. It's not just a bunch of individuals running around winging it, kind of just run around like chickens with their head chopped off, just trying to figure out how to do this stuff on their own. Also, there's training, but honestly, it's usually not training that agents need, because just about every brokerage under the sun provides training, right? What agents really need, everybody needs this, is accountability to apply the training. Because I could give you a concept, very easy thing to understand, but then applying it is the difficult part. And that's where it's like every day in our morning huddle, we talk about, what did you read in your sales book? How's that apply in our situation specifically? How are you going to apply that today? How are you going to go use that right now? Not just be like, oh, that's some nice information, and then pass it along. So that's really where, a team provides the amount of structure and accountability that you need. And honestly, probably the biggest one that a team provides you is time. You don't have to work 60, 70 hours a week like people think you do. If you're a struggling agent or a beginner and you're thinking that's what's required to make it in this business, it's not. If you join a team, you get a lot of your time back, because you get to leverage an admin, leverage a transaction coordinator, you get to leverage an ISA, you get to leverage a marketing system, you get to leverage all the tech that we have in place between like AI bots, emails, property alerts, all these things that are being done on your behalf, so that you can actually focus on the most important thing, which is the client and your friends and family. So this way you're not having to manually do everything, and you're using a business system, so you get a lot of your time back. This is more the ideal type of situation people come to real estate for, where you're working 35 to 45 hours a week, but still making $300 to $500 an hour. And even in Wichita, it's not an exaggeration. In other markets, it's even higher than that, but that's how you really got to consider this and look at this. It'd be like if you went to a doctor's office and the doctor checked you in for your appointment, then took your blood pressure and weighed you on the scale, and then did all your assessments on everything, and then went and checked you out and sent you the bill for it. Why would the doctor do everything in the doctor's office? Why would we as realtors do everything in the realtor world? Like, we have staff, we have people, so that we can do the high level doctor work, and we create jobs with all the other support staff and other things that go on in real estate. So hopefully that's helped you consider, why would you join a team? Because of you get 50%, not you have to give up 50% is the biggest perspective. But ultimately, if you're a beginner, you're struggling, you got to look at like how you're setting yourself up, or how this old brokerage model of individual agents is dead. And really it's the team model that is crushing it in real estate right now. So anyway, hopefully those three things plus the fourth bonus thing have helped you consider, real estate tips for if you're a beginner or a struggling agent. Appreciate you watching as always. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Going to have a bunch more training and insight videos for realtors. If you want to be a part of my EXP network, give me a call. I can plug you into all of our systems, or shoot me a message. Go to my website, wichitahomehero.com. Easy way to get a hold of me. If you want to get a hold of me, you'll find a way to get a hold of me. And hopefully this helped, and appreciate watching, and we'll talk to you later.